Okay, I'd like to respond to the outpour on my video that I posted. First of all, it's hilarious to read some of the comments. Some I expect they're your average, just random emotional outbursts and attempts to shame any person that is not white and is voting for Donald Trump. Those are attempts to just shame you into saying, well, I'm black. I guess I'm supposed to vote for the Democratic Party. Anyway, those are the tactics that unfortunately the Democrats expect for black people to do to keep black people in check when it comes to voting outside of what is known to be their party. I've read all kind of comments like, am I getting paid for this, or I'm seeking attention? I'm like, come on, man. Look, not all attention is good attention. So to step out and vocalize how you feel about your political views as a black man, if you ain't saying what people want to hear, you open yourself up to criticism, which I'm okay with that. Because when I look at a lot of the responses, I'm yet to see any one of them that made me go, man, that makes sense. That's unable to be argued. That's logical. That's practical. That's reasonable. Once again, it was a lot of responses that mirror what mainstream media is shoving down the throats of the public. And I want to kind of just address some things because in the video that I posted on my page, I was being recorded by another video as well, and they left me with limited time to get all of my points across. But people was getting deep. They was like, "You, you better than this. Come back to us." You did almost like I was sinning, like I was saying something that literally was religious. But I want to cover some other reasons why I feel what I feel, so you'll understand where I'm coming from. If I didn't feel strongly about voting for Donald Trump, I wouldn't take the chance of stepping out there. I'm not getting paid for this. There's no money in it for me. It's just giving African Americans a different way of thinking and seeing this election. And, granted, I don't care who watches the video, white, black, Chinese, whoever. But because I'm black, I know how African Americans respond a lot of times when it comes to politics and their political affiliation. But what gets me is the inability to see through a lot of what is being shoved down your throat, and how the media, along with Hillary Clinton and her crew, has redirected people's attention away from major issues that will impact their life that they're not paying attention to. And that's what bothers me. When you look at Hillary Clinton, her whole campaign is based off of don't vote for him. He's a bad guy. He's this and that. Not what she's going to do for you. Not her policies. It's just don't vote for the other guy. No change, no message of hope, nothing different from what we're already dealing with. No track record of actually being able to, invoke real type of change in the community. So her campaign is pathetic. I mean, she's not able to get up there and say, "Hey, I'm a challenge Donald Trump based on policy." But instead, it is just don't vote for him because he's rude, he's divisive, and so on and so forth. To me, that's not a convincing argument. That's someone who just saying, I hope that I can throw enough smear stuff on him to where I can get through the finish line. And if I can keep people distracted, and if I can keep the media on my side and keep them from really looking at how corrupt I am, I might be able to pull this out and slip one on them before they realize what has happened. I want people to, for a second, before you get all in your emotions, I want you to sit back and think about the differences between the two candidates. You might not like Donald Trump's personality, but bunk personality. Get out your emotions, get out of your feelings, because the real issues that are going to impact your life have nothing to do with personality. When Hillary Clinton is still going to hang on to some form of Obamacare and talking about she's just going to tweak it, that's going to impact your life. Where Donald Trump is saying we're going to change up the health care policy, and when we're finished with it, you will be able to also get a tax break based on paying for health care. Since when have we ever been able to do that? When you look at Donald Trump's policies as it pertains to the job industry, these are things that actually are different than what Hillary Clinton is offering. She will not bring any change to our society. And if you think that, you're delusional. You might not like Donald Trump's, the way he talks. You might say he's not, professional. He's not quote unquote presidential. But the stuff that he's talking about, if you get past all of the other distractions, you'll see that it's real stuff that's going to impact your life. If you want your kids to be able to go to the school of their choice, Donald Trump supports that. If you want your church to be protected when it comes to freedom of speech and not have to worry about this liberal movement and want you to be so politically correct that if you say something that the media or the masses don't like, you're getting deemed as a racist, a sexist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, and every other phobe you can think of. So when you look at Donald Trump, I like the fact that he says what he says because I know what he means. I'm like, man, he ain't perfect, but I ain't got to wonder about this dude. And when you look at Hillary, she's going to feed you a bunch of bull crap, just like she's been trying to feed Congress, just like she's been trying to feed the FBI, just like she's been feeding her voters a bunch of bull crap, just like she's been feeding the black community a bunch of bull crap, talking about me and Michelle Obama, my friend, my dear friend, Michelle Obama. Since when did they become friends? And then when she tries to just piggyback off of her to win the affection of the black community, just like my friend Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. Get your own tagline. Don't sit back and need all these other people to campaign for you. When you look what Donald Trump is doing, number one, he's paying for his own campaign. So regardless of how you feel about him, you got to respect that. Secondly, this man is not doing all the dirty tactics that she is doing to win this election. He ain't paid nobody to go into a Democratic campaign and disrupt stuff and start violence. He's not planting evidence on Hillary Clinton that is false. He's not in cahoots with the media and they all donating to his campaign and painting false narratives about Hillary. Right now, her back is up against the wall against real hardcore facts. And it amazes me when people will overlook those facts just because they going, Donald Trump said this and Donald Trump said that. And at the end of the day, when you really look at what he said and in the context that he said it in, you'll find that it has a media spin on it. So say what you will. But at the end of the day, when you look at serious issues that matter and it's going to impact your life, like, for example, if Hillary Clinton gets into office, she will push an agenda to get rid of Assad over in Syria. What do you think is going to happen to America when that happens? Do you think Russia is just going to sit back and say, okay, yeah, come over here and set up a no-fly zone? We have nothing to do with it. We're going to let y'all do what y'all want. Even Putin came on TV and said, don't listen to her. She is setting y'all up for failure. And Americans are so distracted by CNN and all these other places. And he called the Mexicans this and that. And he asked black people, what do y'all have to lose? And he had his businesses overseas. Of course he had his businesses overseas because he's a smart businessman. If you know anything about business, the rules that are put in place were not put in place by Donald Trump. I know this because I was a business consultant. And when I tried to get people to make the products in the US, it was too high to do. That is just smart business sense. He was playing by the rules that all of them played by. He doesn't deny those things. He's able to say, you know what? Yeah, I know the system. I'm the one that was in the game. I played by the rules that they put in place. The difference is I ain't trying to hide it. They're hypocritical. They're using that stuff to make him look like, oh, he's a hypocrite because he has stuff made overseas. He's a hypocrite because he used immigrants to make his stuff. He's a hypocrite. And I'm going, look, all of you politicians who put those things in place are reaping the benefits off of your donors, and you will not change those things. And Donald calls those things out the way they are. And he does not say, oh, no, I didn't do that. He says, yeah, I didn't pay taxes because of the tax laws that y'all put in place. I would be stupid to say, yeah, let me pay more taxes. And when people try to come up and be hypocritical about, man, Donald Trump didn't pay taxes. If you had to pay taxes and they said, hey, man, that's a way you don't have to legally, you would be like, then hook me up. So don't get all high and mighty, and act like just because he took a loophole in the taxes, that this guy all of a sudden is un-American. He is a smart businessman, and he's talking about the stuff that all of these politicians that are part of this system put in place, and they do not want to surrender their power. And they're doing whatever they can to stop it. And when you look at the trouble that Hillary Clinton is in and the real corruption, take the time to read the WikiLeaks emails. Don't get caught up in your emotions. Do your research. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is perfect, but what you really need to do, and I crack up because I talk to a lot of African Americans, and they would throw out the stuff that they feel is true about Donald Trump. And like I said, all of that is tied to what the media puts out, but yet know nothing about their own candidate. They can't get in there and say, I read all of those WikiLeaks emails and I see just how corrupt and conniving she really is. I see just what her real agenda is for America, even though she gets up there and she tells you, oh, yeah, this and this and that. But when you read the emails, you will see the true heart of Hillary Clinton. So when you're looking at two candidates that could impact your life when it comes to the economy, comes to healthcare, when it comes to overseas policies, when it comes to just making good decisions. For her to even get caught up in all of this mess with these emails and with the pay for play, all of that stuff shows you a lot about the decisions that she's made. And so you can fall for the okie doke if you want, but don't criticize me as a black man for saying I see through that crap. And I also have listened to all of Donald Trump's speeches and all of the rhetoric that people say he said this and this and that. And if you go back and see a lot of those things that he said in its true context, it was taken completely out of context to paint a false narrative to do exactly what's happening. And that is create a large amount of minorities that without questioning will immediately say, man, I never vote for Trump, man, forget that, and mess around and miss out on the true substance of why people are saying, you need to look into this. So I ain't telling you all of this stuff. I'm not supporting Donald Trump for anything but the fact that I'm able to see some stuff that will benefit not just black people, white people, but Americans. You're looking at a fixed system that's been in place. Democrats and Republicans are like two gangs that runs Washington. And now they messed around and let somebody slip in and they're threatened by that person. If we do not take the opportunity to get somebody in there that can introduce some new change and new policies, that's it. They will never let another person outside of their crew get that close. And so that's just a smidge of why I'm telling you, you might want to just look deeper into what Donald Trump is offering for the United States. So, all right, I'm ready for the hate mail. Peace.